What we have here is a Dash Cam Hardwire Kit for wiring up a dash cam in your car to a fuse location. There's several different fuse pigtails here, which will cover just about every fuse in most of the automobiles today. This will make it really easy for installation and have fuse protection. I'm going to actually take you to the car, show you how to properly put these power pigtail fuse input pigtails into the fuse location correctly. There's a correct way and an incorrect way to do it. So we'll go over that. First, I just wanted to review what you get. You get these 4 fuse pigtails with 4 fuses, the different types of fuses, the different sizes to accommodate your car. You'll also get a mini plug that will be the larger mini plug and the smaller one. So whichever your dash cam takes, this adapter will accommodate it. If you need the small one, you'll hook these two together. If you need the larger size, it's already on the end of the cord. You're okay. Most of the dash cams, I think, take the larger one. Mine takes a larger mini. Okay, you get a good amount of wire. Oh, I don't know exactly, maybe 10 or 12 feet of wire. So a good amount that you can run this to your dash cam up on the windshield and run this down into a fuse box, which might be under the dash in some cars or in the engine compartment. So you'll have to research where your fuse box is. You may have a couple of fuse boxes, and you want to find a fuse. Any fuse will work that is switched power. That means, and I will show you how to test for that when we go to the fuse box itself. With a test light, will help to identify which fuses will be the proper one. If you hook this to a fuse that is hot all the time with the engine off, then your dash cam is always going to be on. So that's why it's kind of important to have the dash cam and power come on this when you turn your car on. So I'll show you how to do that. Here is the little magic for this this wiring kit. Is this acts just like a power adapter, you know, that you push into your cigarette lighter. Forget what they call them. It's got a USB port, and what it does is takes 12 volts from this side and puts it down to 5 volts, 2 amps, and that's what you get coming out of this cord. 2 amps is the proper size for most dash cams, so it'll work fine. You also have an additional little fuse right in line here, and what this is, if you just take and hold on to this, you can kind of pop this open. You have to get the right side, and it's one of these glass fuses, and it's easy enough to change it. You just have to pull it out of these holders and slide it in, and this is a little case that secures it. This would be if you weren't going to use the pigtail and you're going to hardwire. At least you get a protection here. So with these, you're going to get 2 protections, this and then this. So if you ever had a problem, you have to look at this also. This may be good, but this may have blown for some reason or broken. Okay, and this is the ground wire, and this can go anywhere on the vehicle that is a metal part without paint on it. So it doesn't have to go all the way to under the hood or what have you. You can find a place under the dash and you can pull this apart and cut it and work with it. Okay, let's see. That's pretty much it. What I'm going to show you though now is a critical part, and this is the fuse I'm going to show, this particular type right here. And the instructions in here you should read before you even do this, and their instructions are showing you how these fuses should be placed. This fuse holder has 2 locations. The wiring right here, this pigtail, this is the fuse that's supplied with the kit, and it should always go in the top away from the spade clip. The factory fuse or the vehicle fuse should go in this location, because you're going to take the fuse out that you've selected, you're going to put it into this location, and then you're going to stick this into the location of the fuse you just removed. This will become clear when I go to the vehicle and show you, but I'm just showing you a little layout of the fuse and how it works. And the reason it's important to plug this in the correct way is the fuse box has power that's permanently on one of these leads. Now you may not know right off the bat which one it is, but if power when you plug it in is hot on this one, then you have no protection on this lead, and so this fuse is useless. If this is the hot lead and you plug it in, then this has to be plugged in this way, and this lead has to come out this way. The way it works is the power source is here, power over here, going through the fuse and out this leg is the way it wants to work. Okay, very important what I'm talking about. And this, you would just hide this someplace. You could put a piece of Velcro on the back of this, you know, and the mating side, and stick this somewhere under the dash or what have you. And if you need to get to your fuse box in the engine compartment, then you're going to have to find a way of sticking this through some sort of an opening in the firewall of the inside of the vehicle. I'm sure you'll be able to find something. This may not go through, so you may have to cut the wire someplace and then later splice it back together. So that may be an alternative. So you can't, one vehicle is different from every other, so this is something you're going to have to work with. But once you have the basic knowledge of what you're going to try to do, then it's easy. So right here, this is going to fit into these areas pretty easy, and then you have a protector over the end of that, and you crimp that down, and so that makes adding power easy. But like I say, the big thing is laying this all out, and no one can really show you exactly how to do that. You're going to have to explore and find ways of connecting it. So that's pretty much it. Read the manual carefully and make sure you get the fuse plugged in correctly, and it'll be an easy and useful addition to your vehicle, and it'll be much nicer than having to plug the end of the cord into your power outlet. Now you've got a new power outlet that you can use for something else. All right, let's go to the vehicle and see what I'm talking about, finding the fuse and how to add these, okay? This is my Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's 2005, and we're going to show you how to hook the pigtail up to a fuse location in your car and have it to go the correct way. You could hook this up wrong and you wouldn't have the protection of the fuse. So this is a critical part if you're going to do the installation of this. So pay close attention. Now let's go where you can see the fuse box that I'm going to get into, and I'm going to select a fuse that is not powered up until I turn the key on for the application of driving the power to my dash cam. That's the only time you want the power on. It's called switched power. I've already investigated and I found a fuse that I'm going to use, which is a 15 amp fuse. I would use a fuse that's close to the 5 amp size that we're going to install. Right here is a 15 amp fuse. It's blue. When you plug this in, you want the fuse protecting this wire. So you want the power to come in on this location, go through the fuse, and then out the wire. If you turned it around and you had the power going on this side, it would be coming up to the fuse and then it would be going straight to the wire. You aren't getting the protection of the fuse. So first thing you have to do is find out, just by looking at this, if you put your fuse in, but you have to put it in the correct way. So the best way to do this is to use your little fuse puller, and this is for small and this is the larger fuses. So you just stick this over and it'll just, and then squeeze and then rock it and it pulls right out, and then you slide her out. I'm going to put this right over there. This is the way the fuse was sitting in there, like that. So we're going to see, and this is a test light. It's a 12 volt test light. You just hook this side to ground, which is right there, or any part of unpainted frame metal will do fine. Now what you do is go in here and touch the contacts. There's a contact over here, and the ignition is not on. I don't get any light, but now when I touch it over here, right there, so I've got light there. So the power is coming in on that terminal and it's going through the fuse over to the dry terminal, or no power on it. So I want this fuse wire like this, going in this way, so that I have the power on this terminal going through the fuse and then out. The 15 amp fuse is going into this location and it will be protected just like that. Don't put this one in there. You want the position, the fuse that you're taking out, to go in the bottom one closest, because by doing that, this is supplying fuse power to your car. This is supplying fused power to this lead. So that's how that works, those positions. So now I would take this fuse. 15 would go there, and you just push her in. Okay. I'm not going to worry about pushing it all the way right now, because I'm just taking it out and this is a demonstration. Okay, this is my wiring to the new power source for my dash cam. This is the fuse that I took out of this location right here, which is part of the car. Now what you do is you plug this into here carefully, and it should just go right in there. There's the way it'll go. Now here's the little problem. You may have to cut you a little place out of there, because that's not going to do good. Or we could see if there's a fuse over here that we could use. That might have not been the best one, but I can't turn this around. If I did, then I would be getting it wrong. It's got to be like that. And then you'll see I have power here. And I can also check the stock fuse should have power on both of these little terminals. And let me see if it does. There. And whoop. There. So it's working correctly. So this is a problem with closing. So I'll let you work it out on your car. You'll have to solve the problems of where you can mount that. And the best place would probably be over here on one of these fuses. But that's a 20 amp. Okay, so there you go. Is you have to test, and the only way you can test is by taking the fuse out to see which side the hot lead is on. Okay, now what you could do is come over here and pull this one out. Now I use pliers because they're much easier for me. This is a 20 amp fuse, and what I can do is put it in here like that, and then put it right in this position, and you see that would work. And you could run your wire. You may have to kind of squeeze this down. Let's see. Yeah, that would work. Okay, so you can see I have power. Now this lead is being protected by 5 amps. The other yellow is 20 amps, so that's no problem at all. You can use any one of those fuses. Now I know that this is the non-powered side. We'll verify it again. Right here, no power. Go over here and power. So I want the wire coming out this side, the side that has no power. Very important to do that. Okay, I'm gonna put the fuse back, and now you know how to do this. All right, we'll go back and look at the rest of the wiring. That's where my dash cam normally sits. Here's the cord, and you see it's the larger end, and it goes up and over and around, and then you see it goes behind this. This is easy enough to pull back, and you can just run that wire down, and you see I came out right about there, on down, around, and up underneath, and then I went up underneath there, over, around, and I'm into there. But that's why I've got this, is I'm going to take this out and add it to my fuse block, which I showed you that's under the hood. This will free me up and not have to have this plugged in. Okay, and this is a switched power port. It doesn't become hot until I turn the key on, and that's what you want. Okay, I think that'll pretty well do it. Wish you a lot of luck, and thanks for watching.